It is supposed to be a healthy way of keeping the pangs of hunger at bay. But GTV has an exclusive report detailing how one biscuits manufacturing company located off the Spintex Road in Accra, Eurofoods Limited, is using unwholesome flour for its biscuits. Not only have the flour and other products expired, but they are infested with weevils, maggots and termites. Mathia Butiate brings us a story.
For the first time, a news crew was right in the thick of things when a police operation got underway. 2 busloads of police officers and several other cars filled with CID and FDB personnel stormed the premises of Eurofoods Limited off the Spintex Road. The Ghanaian workers and Lebanese managers were stunned and confused. The company bosses tried in vain to prevent any camera taking of their factory. However, the mole in their midst happened to be none other than an award-winning investigative journalist who had worked undercover at the factory for weeks, Anas Aremiyao of the Crusading Guide. A search of the premises revealed a disconcerting fact. Most of the sacks of flour were expired, nearing expiry, or at the date of expiry. The undercover reporter would lead guide. A search of the premises revealed a disconcerting fact. Most of the sacks of flour were expired, nearing expiry, or at the date of expiry. The undercover reporter who leaked the story to GTV revealed that the expired flour made the biscuits brittle, so the company bought fresh flour and mixed it with the old one. And according to experts, eating expired products can be harmful to one's health. And that is only half of the story. Worse is the fact that weevils and maggots had made their homes in the expired flour. And that, according to clinical pharmacologist Dr. Alex Dodu, is definitely harmful to one's health.
Just a little bit, and of course, bacteria are very small. You may sieve the product and the bacteria will still be there. So when you use this to produce whether your chocolate or whether your biscuit or whether your bread, you risk causing public health problems in the fact that people will eat this thing, they may have food poisoning, they may vomit, they may have diarrhea, they may have running stomach, and some unfortunately may end up being hospitalized.
The Food and Drugs Board and the police took samples of the biscuits and flour for tests in the laboratories.
This is called Anibal. Anibal. And this is your favorite malted milk, very popular in town. And then this is Aloe Cleo. Aloe Cleo. And this one here is Sweetie or Sweetie. Sweetie. More sweeties for you here. I don't know how sweet they are anyway. And this one used to be my favorite. Digestive, very small. I think it's around 1,005 or 1,006. Very nice and tasty.
Some of the company officials were definitely not happy with the sudden turn of events in their daily work schedule, and they seemed to be staring sales slump in the face.
I don't know what, I have no comments.
The Deputy Director General of Police in charge of operations, Chief Superintendent J.K. Agbuadu, and the Regulatory Officer of the Food and Drugs Board, Mr. Osei Amponsa, were involved in the operation.
We are taking the Chief Executive, the Production Manager and the General Manager of the company to assist us in further investigation. Meanwhile, on the directives of the Food and Drugs Board, the production at the factory has been suspended.
Normally, Food and Drugs Board checks most of these companies, but most of them, when they see the expiry dates, they don't care about the way they store the product. Some of them don't even take care of what we call pest control. They don't take steps to ensure that pests don't get into their premises. Expiry date may be there, all right, that it will expire, let's say, in 2 years' time. But if you don't store the product well, or you don't have adequate pest control in place, you will wake up and find maggots. It doesn't matter the number of bags you have infesting the product.
Some of the biscuits were loaded into trucks ready for sale to unsuspecting Ghanaians. A visit to the stores and stalls of petty traders who sell these biscuits revealed that it is mostly children who patronize the biscuits. The biscuits are relatively cheap, selling between 1,000 and 3,000 cedis.
Omuto de eto de omuto ensuto na say de yanko nkohu ade omude ye no nti ye de so mu yi ayape omu siesie ma ya yape because yare yam pese yare mbachi embra ye nu ochi.
There are several other biscuit manufacturing companies in the country, and there is probably no way of telling how safe the products are for the millions of Ghanaian consumers. It is now up to the Food and Drugs Board and Ghana Standards Board to live up to their responsibility to ensure the safety of the Ghanaian food products. For GTV News, Matthew Abutiate reporting.
The management of Eurofood, a biscuit and lollipop manufacturing company in Accra, has denied media reports that it uses unwholesome ingredients for its biscuits. Yesterday, GTV News carried a report to the effect that the company uses expired flour infested with termites, weevils, and maggots. Media reports, the management of the company spoke to journalists to state its position on the issue.
We operate under bond, so we cannot do anything without authorization from the customs. Now, this flour that is contaminated is about 200 bags plus. It's a lot of money. Okay, so what we do is, when you isolate it, you have to write to customs. Customs will come inspect it. You have to go to Port Health. They will come and inspect it and declare it as unwholesome. Then you go to TMA for destruction certificate. When they come, they will inspect it, and they will charge you for how much they will destroy it for you, because they have to come and collect it from here and send it to the rubbish dump.
According to the management, the company imports its raw materials, which are kept in a bonded warehouse. Customs duties are not charged until the raw materials have been turned into finished products. The management of the company said that customs does not charge duties on the products or the raw materials if they are unwholesome. The solicitor explained that the flour that GTV's camera captured yesterday during the visit with policemen had been detected to have gone bad 4 days earlier. He said the company had already isolated the infected flour for subsequent destruction.
What GTV shot on the TV as infested product, yes, they are infested products. We noticed it 4 days ago, and we removed it that very day and isolated it in that container, which you have seen. And that is where they made all the shots. Okay? We never used it for production, and we were not going to use it for production.
That was Ebenezer Aye's report. Barely 72 hours after media reports that Eurofoods Ghana Limited, a biscuit manufacturing company in Accra, was allegedly using expired flour to bake biscuits, the Food and Drugs Board has advised the general public to stop consuming the biscuits. The contaminated biscuits will be immediately withdrawn from the Ghanaian market. The move is a precautionary measure to safeguard the health of those who may unwittingly consume the biscuits. The biscuit factory at the center of the controversy has been shut down. The factory was reported to be using flour and other ingredients infested with maggots and weevils to produce biscuits. Matthew Abutiate reports.
A few days ago, Eurofood Ghana Limited, situated off the Spintex Road in Accra, was spotlighted unpleasantly in the news when police officers, Food and Drugs Board and Ghana Standards Board personnel and a GTV crew found expired flour and other products in their biscuit-making factory. Even starch, which wasn't expired, was infested with insects. The company's storage practices were obviously very poor. The Crusading Guys correspondent, Anas Aremiyao, who was working undercover, said the company sealed the flour in the factory to rid it of maggots and worms. The weevils, however, were too tiny to be sifted out, so the insect-infested flour ended up in the mixer and came out as biscuits. He took pictures of the sieving process in the factory, as explained by the acting editor of his paper.
This picture depicts our reporter. This is the machine they use for sieving the contaminated flour. You can see it in blue color. It's inside. You can see the darkness. The whole area is dark. This picture was taken with a camera without a flash, so it wasn't that clear. If it were outside, it wouldn't appear the way it is now. It was inside the factory, and he was at work sieving the flour. Yeah, so the weevils and the termites and maggots and also.
When the police arrived at the factory floor, the sieving tables had been taken away, but they found at least one outside the factory. Eurofood claimed they only realized the flour was expired a few days ago and had actually separated it from fresh flour on their premises prior to destruction.
what DTV shot on the TV as infested product. Yes, they are infested product. We noticed it 4 days ago, and we removed it that very day and isolated it in that container, which you have seen. And that is where they made all the shots. Okay? We never used it for production, and we were not going to use it for production.
But this did not explain the presence of the sieving tables at the factory. Added to this is the fact that the undercover reporter had taken pictures of the factory hands mixing unwholesome flour with fresh one just brought in by a truck from a nearby company.
Even if a certain product is not wholesome and wants to be discarded or spoiled, burnt or whatever, the Food and Drugs Board has to be notified, and they will even supervise the destruction of that product. This didn't happen.
Workers at the factory alleged they were made to work long hours in order to use up the expired flour quickly. And aside that, Eurofood Ghana Limited faxed a letter to GTV, forwarded from a company in England known as RKL Engineering, insisting that the expiry date of June did not mean the flour was unwholesome. The fax also claimed that even if there were weevils in the flour, once they were sifted out, the flour could be baked and eaten. But a Ghanaian doctor disputes this.
Having flour which is contaminated with weevil and other things is really unwholesome. And any product on the market, if the starting material is unwholesome, the product itself will be unwholesome. Contaminated flour, if it's used for cakes or biscuits or bread, can actually lead to food poisoning. We've had cases where you have allergens, where people react very badly. They have skin reactions, they have itching. There has been actually one case where someone actually collapsed. And if you compare globally, I mean, the Food Standards Agency of the UK, for instance, would advise anyone not to touch anything contaminated. If you have flour which is contaminated, you do not use it. If you use it, you risk causing serious public health problems.
At the moment, biscuit production at Eurofood has been suspended following a directive by the Food and Drugs Board. Meanwhile, the Food and Drugs Board will also be filing a report to the Minister of Health and will be withdrawing the contaminated biscuits from the market.
I want to rely on PNDC Law 350, which clearly says that if you use unwholesome products, okay, you are, it's against the law. I mean, I don't know what criminality is in this order, but very clearly they are against the law. We are taking the batch manufacturing records, okay, from the factory, so that any product that has been made out of this flour, all the batches that have been made out of this flour, we are going to ask that it should be withdrawn. They know their distributors, so we'll ask them to go to their distributors to ask them to bring it back. We'll tell the general public that when you are buying any of these things, look out for these batches. If it is within, don't take it. And the people who are selling it can return it to the wholesalers that they bought it from.
Some of the brand names of the biscuits in question are Anibal, Bolo, Fitini, Baba Junior, Mobile, and the more popular Digestive and Malt and Milk. The Digestive and Malt and Milk biscuits are also made by other companies, but the ones suspected to be contaminated have the brand name Cleo, C-L-E-O, written on them, along with the name of the manufacturers and their address.
To avoid eating these kind of biscuits for now, the best thing any consumer can do is to, if you're buying a biscuit, you take it and then you look at the manufacturer. If it's written Eurofoods Limited, Sprintex Road, then that's the kind of biscuit which is in the news.
But the question is, how many consumers of these biscuits can read? The major consumers of these biscuits are obviously young people.
As people would say, the biscuits made the race bread. You know, I didn't know that was the situation. Okay, and I was even buying. I bought one on Monday. That Monday I saw that news item. I had bought one, and after I had seen or I've watched that news item, I felt bad. Okay, I felt bad for buying that thing, and I felt like vomiting, but it was too late. You know?
I was in a state of shock when I heard the news because I like biscuit very much, and to be precise, Malt and Milk. I heard that those are the biscuits that were infested with those maggot flour or whatever. And I don't know what to do now because those biscuits, I like them, and apart from those biscuits, I don't enjoy any other biscuits.
Some people are of the view that the fact that investors are needed in this country does not mean the health of the Ghanaian consumer should be jeopardized in the name of business. And they are wondering what will happen to the alleged culprits when investigations into the matter are over. Meanwhile, the Food and Drugs Board is appealing to Ghanaian workers to report any unhealthy practices by any food or drink company they are working in. For GTV News, Matthew Abuchate reporting.
Following recommendations by the Food and Drugs Board, the Ministry of Health has given the green light to Eurofoods, producers of biscuits and twisted candies, to resume operations. The company was closed down last month for using unwholesome flour to produce some of its biscuits. At a news conference today, the management of the company said it was adhering to the recommendations by the Food and Drugs Board. A letter dated 5th July 2006, signed by the Minister of Health, Major Karit Kashiga, and copied to the Food and Drugs Board, the Commissioner of Customs, Excise and Preventive Service, and the Inspector General of Police, permits Eurofoods to restart business. The company resumed operations on the 10th of this month. This draws to a close a chain of events which began last month when a combined team of police personnel and officials from the Food and Drugs Board stormed the premises of Eurofoods and discovered unwholesome flour containing weevils and maggots. The Food and Drugs Board, after examining the company's system of operation, identified certain shortfalls. These included the company's code of recruiting its workforce and its production environment. In a recommendation to the Ministry of Health, the Food and Drugs Board requested Eurofoods to adhere to a list of recommendations for product safety. Among them, Eurofoods must from time to time produce a certificate of analysis for all raw materials. This is to enable the Food and Drugs Board to assess the suitability of the raw materials before they are used for manufacture. The Human Resource and Administrative Manager of Eurofoods is Ms. Pearl Kojovi.
The mission of the company is to shape the biscuit and confectionery industry in Ghana and the West African sub-region by offering world-class products. We have therefore been always committed to this mission and would like to reassure the general public of our continued commitment to producing under high hygienic conditions and in conformity with good international manufacturing practices as we produce to feed the entire sub-region and not only Ghana.
Previously, expiry dates could be found on the cartons but not on the product. Now, every product must have an expiry date inscribed on it. We now move